What is good, YouTube, man? Today, back on our big reaction video. We're reacting to the horrifying real events that are behind these memes. Wow, that's kind of creepy. It's a little creepy sound, a little creepy noise. This have half of a human brain in 20. Wait. In January 2000, a worker at a sewage treatment plant in Bethlehem, PA, oh shit, discovered half of a human brain inside a catch basin. What the fuck is that? Authorities determined that it had been there for long. Oh shit. And that had not come from a hospital or research lab. No DNA match has been found. What the fuck? And someone made a meme about it?
The "Oh that's real nice" meme comes from an episode of the cartoon SpongeBob SquarePants.
I fuck with this guy's voice,
a side
bro.
character in the show, looks into a toilet bowl only to find a realistic-looking SpongeBob floating inside. The moment itself tied into the overall plot of that episode. But the meme that came out of it was meant to contrast someone doing an ordinary task like going to the toilet or clocking in at work with an unusual or disturbing discovery.
What?
And while most of the posts mentioned completely fictional events, a few instances of the meme format referenced real events that actually happened. This particular incident took place at the Bethlehem wastewater treatment plant on January 7, 2000. A worker named Scott Batchman had clocked into his night shift at around 11 p.m. when he noticed a pink, fleshy object while cleaning out a catch basin. He took it out and rinsed it off to get a clearer look. However, nothing could have prepared him for what that object turned out to be.
What the fuck was it?
Scott was holding one half of a human brain in his hand. It was a bit difficult to identify, but Scott's past work experience at a coroner's office allowed him to confirm that it was real and not a
Would
prop.
you guys ever
He
work
immediately
as a
contacted the authorities and handed it over to them. This discovery happened on a Friday night, so a proper analysis didn't happen until Monday. However, according to initial reports, the brain looked like it was fresh and had not been in the sewer system for very long. The situation became worse when it was sent over to a DNA lab for testing, which confirmed that it belonged to a person. Unfortunately, authorities had no matching DNA on record, making it impossible to determine whose brain it was.
That's actually really creepy,
the
bro.
treatment plant also received waste from 13 different municipalities.
Let me stay away from Bethlehem,
so
PA, bro.
The nearby missing person report either. The question now was, how did a piece of human brain end up in the sewer system in the first place?
I was just thinking that.
One possible explanation
I really wasn't
considered was that it came from a medical cadaver, suggesting that a medical student might have flushed it down the drain either on purpose or somehow by accident.
Who would do that?
However, the lack of any major decomposition pointed to a much darker possibility. The brain likely came from the victim of a homicide, with the killer attempting to destroy evidence by dismembering the body and flushing the pieces down the toilet one by one.
That could be true.
Unfortunately, it seems their plan worked as intended. The investigators were never able to link the discovery to any reported crimes, leaving the case an unsolved mystery.
So a sewage treatment plant is all the shit from your fucking toilet? So say I flush something down the toilet, they're gonna see that? Be aware of what you flush down the toilet, bro. People are watching. People are seeing it. Wow. What the fuck? So anytime someone flush some drugs down the toilet, bro, they're seeing that shit? You think they're taking some?
Came for the tourney?
What is this?
Come just for nights. You and
I could squire for you, sir. Every night needs a squire. You look like you need one more than most.
If I could call...
The hell is that? You serve your grass. You're set for a glass of milk.
The traumatized Mr. Incredible meme depicts a normal-looking Mr. Incredible next to a haunting, uncanny.
What happened in Mexico in 19?
The template uses a before and after format to highlight how hidden context changes a person's perspective, where people who don't know see a surface-level image or phrase and remain blissfully ignorant, represented by a smiling Mr. Incredible.
What the hell?
In contrast, people who know understand the dark, tragic, or disturbing reality behind the subject, represented by his hollow-eyed, traumatized face. This specific version of the meme refers to a silent tragedy that occurred in many parts of Mexico in the late 1980s. And the cause for it originated over 7,000 miles, or more than 11,000 kilometers away in Ukraine. On April 26, 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear plant suffered the worst nuclear disaster in history to explode, releasing a plume of radioactive fallout that drifted across Europe. The immediate blast killed 2 workers, while dozens more lost their lives to acute radiation sickness shortly after trying to contain the fallout. However, by the time they were able to enclose the malfunctioning reactor, it had already spread massive clouds of toxic, radioactive particles across Europe and Asia. Mexico, in theory, should have been far enough from the disaster
I thought
site
nuclear bombs supposed to take out like everything.
Government corruption and greed
what the fuck
turned
was
it into
this?
a problem
A little
that
pussy
ordinary
baby
Mexicans
bomb?
were forced to live with in their day-to-day lives.
Get your fucking
You see,
nuclear bombs up, buddy.
particles from the Chernobyl meltdown
Goofy.
contaminated crops and livestock across Europe and Asia, making a significant portion of their food unsafe for consumption. Ireland was among the more heavily affected countries, with thousands of tons of milk in the region becoming radioactive. The Irish government tried to get rid of this contaminated milk by selling it to poorer countries. And after getting rejected by Brazil, they reached an agreement with the Mexican government to sell 40,000 tons of radioactive powdered milk at discounted prices. The toxic milk reached Mexico in June 1987 and then distributed across the country by a state-owned company called Supo. It made its way into ordinary households where consumers had no idea they were drinking what was essentially poison. The truth finally came out when
everyone was
Vice
drinking
Admiral
that shit,
Manuel
bro.
Rodriguez Gordillo commissioned a nuclear physicist to test the milk. As it turned out, the milk the Mexican government bought from Ireland exceeded 10 times the permitted limits of radioactivity. The government initially tried to suppress the news by accusing the whistleblower of defamation, stripping them of their position, and putting them in prison. But the backlash got bad enough that the government was forced to issue a complete recall by January 1988. Unfortunately, the damage was already done. Over the following decade, the number of children suffering from cancer skyrocketed.
Is that a real victim?
Many endured life-altering deformities, while countless others lost their lives because of it. Even those who survived the initial radiation poisoning now face a higher risk of developing cancer later in life.
Wow. But don't a lot of things cause cancer later on in life, bro? Like a lot of things in America. I feel like half the shit we use on a day-to-day basis is causing us cancer. And we don't even know. And we don't even realize. But the elites know. The ones that are in control of it know. The ones who are selling it to us know. Yep. I didn't mean to get too deep into that, but I had to.
To me, it seems like January always starts the same way. New resolutions, new projects, and a packed schedule right out the gate.
Nah,
it can feel like this any time of the year, but usually especially so at the start. And if you're anything like me, it seems to always be my health that's the first thing to get pushed aside when I get busy. Checkups get delayed, symptoms get ignored, and taking care of myself gets treated like something I'll handle later, even though things rarely slow down. Finding the right doctor and fitting an appointment into a busy schedule just takes way too long. That is where today's video sponsor, ZocDoc, comes in.
Bro, I don't want to fucking hear a sponsor, bro. I thought you were telling me a fucking story. What the fuck, clown my ass?
And the engine
I don't give a
finally
fuck about
roars.
no ad cut. Motherfucker, what? What's MFW? I'm fucking wondering. I'm urban exploring. I think it might be I'm fucking wondering. It could be that. I'm urban exploring in China and find. You gotta use your grammar better, but okay. An abandoned area, and it reeks of rotting flesh. First of all, how do you know what rotting flesh smells like? Got you. Got you. Sounds really loud right there.
The deeply unsettling Mr. Incredible meme illustrates a person's reaction to discovering something truly
Oh, we just
horrifying.
fucking saw that one.
The template is often paired with a caption highlighting disturbing events or shocking facts, and this particular use of it is no different. It summarizes the horrific sight a Chinese explorer named the Beanbag Adventures uncovered in February 2022.
But why does he already know what human
Beanbag's
flesh
content
smells
on
like?
Douyin, which is the Chinese version of TikTok, revolved around him exploring abandoned buildings and showcasing any interesting finds. However, one of these adventures spiraled into a nightmare his viewers could have never imagined. The video started with him entering an abandoned hospital or lab of some kind. It was extremely run down and appeared to have been vacant for over a decade, if not more. Broken furniture, torn clothes, and glass jars were everywhere. But what really caught
Who
Beanbag's
explores by
attention
themself,
weren't these
bro?
items. He was more drawn to the
What the
overpowering
fuck?
smell
No
that was filling
survival
the whole
instincts or
building.
nothing, bro.
Curious, he
You
decided
always
to
know to
find its
never go by
source.
yourself,
He
bro.
followed the paths where the smell
Always
grew
need a group.
stronger and eventually reached a strange, dilapidated room with a pool in the middle of it. He looked inside the pool and before showing it to his viewers claimed that it was filled with movie props. The pool was filled with what looked like the remains of dozens of children floating in a mysterious liquid. He
What
spent
the
barely a minute
fuck?
inside this room before the smell became too unbearable and he had to run out gagging for air. The horrifying sight left
He's
most of the
stepping in
viewers
it!
in shock, with many also trying to figure out if any of it was real. But for now, many accepted his movie prop
Did he
explanation
just
and
go
didn't question it
swimming in that
further,
bitch?
especially since the alternative was far too gruesome for most to even contemplate. A lot of the remains also showed few signs of decomposition, making it easier to buy into
What does
the
that
prop
mean?
theory. However, the possibility of these remains being
Decomposition?
real
That's a
became
huge word.
impossible to ignore when Beanbag returned to the same location 10 months later. This time, he decided to explore the rest of the building before
Why'd
going
he
back to
go
the
there?
pool room. Unfortunately, the other locations proved to be just as disturbing. I can't show most of this on YouTube, but he
This guy's
discovered rooms
weird.
full of extremely realistic human skeletons, children's toys and masks, and a few glass jars with what looked like human fetuses stored inside them. Things somehow got even worse when he returned to the pool room and found things that weren't there before, like glass jars and children's clothes on the ground.
No.
And most unsettling, a blue tarp partially covering the pool.
No.
This showed that someone else had been in that room in the last 10 months. But that wasn't even the worst part.
Bro,
the
my
most
stomach.
disturbing part of Beanbag's second visit came when he pointed his camera at the pool. It not only contained more remains than before, but many of the previous ones were also noticeably more decomposed than last time, disproving his movie prop claim. Though, given what people now know about the situation, it seemed he called them movie props just so he could feign ignorance in case he ever got into trouble.
Yup,
It
that's
also
true,
helped
that's
in keeping
true.
the videos from getting removed from the platform. Put simply,
W thinking,
Beanbag
W thinking,
and now
bro.
most of his audience suspected that
What
this
the
room was a
fuck?
part of an illegal
Those are
organ
some
harvesting
sketchy ass
operation
stairs, bro.
as a
Be
corpse
careful.
factory. You see,
careful.
China has one of the lowest organ donor rates in the world due to cultural reasons. Yet, despite this limitation, the process of actually getting an organ for a transplant is relatively easy as long as you have the money. That's
Bro.
because most of these organs are said to come from China's massive black market, where merchants illegally abduct victims to meet the demand. Some reports also claim that the Chinese government is somehow involved in this operation as well, with it allegedly harvesting from minority prisoners that aren't even on death row. Even if the government wasn't involved, Beanbag was putting a target on himself by possibly exposing
Did I
such
just
a
hear that right?
large-scale criminal operation. So, acting clueless was his best bet. But even
I don't
then,
ever
his
wanna go to
safety
China.
wasn't guaranteed.
What the fuck?
Fans were worried about his well-being.
I don't ever want to
This
go to a
con-
different country, because imagine you get stuck there. You have no way to get home, bro. That's the shit I think about. What if I get like arrested or something, you get stuck there, bro? What do? There's nothing you can do, bro. So yeah, don't ever catch me. Don't ever ask me to go to no other country but United States. I don't even like going to a different state. I don't even like going out of my house. I don't even like going to the gas station, bro. It sucks. Any social interaction, bro, I hate. I'm not even gonna lie. That might be like supertism maxing, little retard maxing, but I hate it, bro. I hate it. I might have the tisms now I think about it, bro.
Concern became
I
even
hate
more
talking to
substantial
people,
when
bro.
Beanbag's Douyin account got terminated out
I like
of
talking to
nowhere
you guys,
shortly
though.
after posting the second video. Viewers believed
I
that
just
whoever
hate it, bro.
Beanbag exposed was trying to silence him before the story could spread further. Though, just as they were about to lose hope, Beanbag
Rather
returned
just
to
stay
the
in my
internet with
fucking
new
house.
videos. However, the 2 videos of him exploring the hospital were now deleted from his
I
account.
gotta go work, though,
Beanbag
but,
also
like,
kept
it's
posting
different,
more
bro.
videos exploring other
I get
abandoned
paid to be
buildings
there.
and never even brought up the
I don't really
hospital
like
again.
talking, though.
If someone was trying to silence him, wouldn't it be easier to make him disappear, or at the very least keep him off the internet forever?
Yeah.
So, what's going
That's
on
true.
here? Well, the internet has come up
What
with
they
many
say?
theories trying to solve this very question. But nearly
Ever heard of Exit Body World? The owner and creator of it, of the way it
all of them contain contradictions or details that don't align with the known facts. The most popular of these theories
trying to be
is
like
that the room
Kai
was
Cenat
used
and
to
trying to, like,
discard
get my reading
victims
better
after
and stuff.
harvesting their organs.
Just 20 minutes a
But
day.
here's the thing. If someone was actually running a massive criminal operation, wouldn't
It's
it be
crazy
much
now he
safer
wants to
for
start
them
reading,
hide
bro.
the
All of a
evidence in
sudden.
mass graves or use
After all these
industrial
millions, you just
incinerators
start
to
reading?
cremate the remains?
I would've been read, buddy.
Especially if the Chinese government was involved, as many suspect. As for
They
his
definitely
account
are,
getting
bro.
temporarily
They're all
banned,
corrupt
that could
over
be
there.
explained
So
by
are we.
Douyin simply taking it down due to
But you
the
guys don't wanna
excessive
have that
gore his
conversation.
videos showed. which is also
No
why
one
he
wants
was
to think
allowed
about
to
it.
return after deleting those videos. Alternatively, some also believe that this room was the trophy room of sorts for a serial killer. But the sheer number of
100%.
victims makes that highly unlikely,
Why?
even if it was a group of multiple killers. Then there's also the
Why would
possibility
it be
that
multiple
Beanbag faked
killers?
the
I think
whole
that's
thing
one
to go
guy.
viral, or that it was an art
And
project
that
of
motherfucker who
sorts.
keeps
And while
exploring
he wouldn't be the
will
first one
be
to try
next.
something like this, the remains in the pool were way too real to be fabrications.
He's going in the
Beanbag would
pool.
also have to spend tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to commission such a large quantity of props for both videos, all without getting any real return on his investment.
He looks
So
scary.
the remains were most likely real.
Nah, I don't believe
Unfortunately, there's no way for us to determine how they got there. Beanbag stopped uploading in April 2024 and hasn't returned to the internet since.
He might have died.
He also never shared the location of the building, so no one else can investigate it either.
Yeah,
And
don't
as far
go.
as I was able
Don't
to find,
go.
the authorities never looked into this, leaving this whole thing unsolved, possibly forever.
I always want to do exploring videos like Sam and Kobe and shit. Them Jones were always fire, bro. Sam and Kobe was really like, they were really like, I would say maybe middle school to like sophomore year, bro. I was watching them all the time, bro. They were peak. They were peak, bro. All them ghost videos and shit, bro. You know what? Do they still post, bro? Let's see. Do they still be posting? Cause I'd go watch. I'd watch them, bro. I'd watch them. They're a vibe. Do y'all think their shit's real? I never knew. Like, I don't know. Definitely when they did the 3 a.m. videos back in the day, them Johns were definitely fake. But the ghost videos, bro, how do you like fake ghost videos? Like, how do you know what I mean, bro? They just did a John with Face Rug. I'm trying to watch with Face Rug. Wait, I might watch that John. Save that for later. But if you really think about it, bro, how do you fake a ghost video? Should we go ghost exploring for my for we hit 200 subs? 200 subs, ghost explore? I'd shit myself.
This meme recounts the tragic life of
I'd probably
Ricard
cry on camera.
A
Deadass,
48-year-old
bro.
tattoo artist
Alright.
from Philadelphia.
Alright. If you have a mustache like that, bro, just give up. What the fuck is that? Are you trying to do a goatee, bro? What the fuck, dude? It looks like one of those big ass like Gatorade ring things you be getting when you drink hella Gatorade. Bro, you look weird. You looks creepy, bro. He's just
Who
staring
lost
into my
everything
soul.
he had in a single year. Ricard had two passions in life: his only son and art. He created
Shitty
music,
art.
did
The fuck
photography,
is
and
that?
eventually settled into
Shit,
a
weak
career
as
as
fuck,
a
bro.
tattoo artist. He also shared videos of his
Yeah,
tattoo
bro.
work
Yeah,
on
give it
YouTube
up, buddy.
quite often,
Give it up.
likely just to document his own project.
Give that shit
Every
up.
second he wasn't
The
working,
fuck?
he spent with his son. He had a
hope
seemingly
you
perfect
do refunds,
life
buddy.
and was still striving to do better for the only person in his life. Unfortunately, this perfect life was ripped away from Ricard in 2015. This was the year he moved to Philadelphia and started working there as a
nice.
tattoo artist. However, months into his new employment, he contracted a urinary tract infection, or UTI
What the
for
fuck?
short.
How do you do
The
that?
pain was so severe that it made it impossible for him to work. But since his insurance didn't cover UTIs, he couldn't afford to go to a doctor. With no other
Wow.
option, Ricard spoke to his boss about his illness, hoping for help or at least some guidance. And as it turned out, his boss had also gone through a UTI recently. His
Damn,
boss
bro.
still had some of the antibiotics his doctor prescribed, which he
W
happily handed
boss.
over to Ricard. Ricard was a bit skeptical at first, but a single dose dramatically reduced his pain. So he kept taking the
W.
antibiotics and was soon well enough to return to work. But before he could celebrate his recovery,
They're all gone.
Ricard noticed another major health concern. He was experiencing insomnia, making it difficult for him to sleep each night. Unfortunately, that was only
I'll
the
be having
beginning.
that sometimes,
The
bro.
insomnia was getting worse with each passing day.
Can never
4
sleep.
months in, and it became
be
severe enough to
smacking the
prevent him
cart
from
30
sleeping
times.
altogether.
Say, nah, I
None
really
of the
don't, though.
treatments he tried worked, and he was rapidly running out of options.
What kind of
So, in
fucking
January
tattoo is that, bro?
2016, he uploaded a video asking for the internet's help, titled Che Fatal Insomnia Neurotoxin Induce, CNS Seeking
Bro, you're in the
Neuroscience
United
Hospital
States, bro.
Support or Stem Cell Hope, where he
Why
went
are you
over
still
all the
speaking
disturbing
different language?
details of his condition.
My brain also looking forward to sleep,
Hmm.
but the activity of the brain is never calmed down. It's been 4 months since my brain is active. It never sleep. It never want to go down. And when my body asks my brain that I need to rest and sleep, There's no connection, but there is a feedback. There is a
What
really
the fuck is he
painful
talking about?
feedback, physical feedback, and neuron feedback.
Ricard explained his condition as fatal familial insomnia, a devastating neurological disorder that essentially locks the
Nah,
brain
it's
in a
all in
state
your
of
head,
permanent
bro.
wakefulness.
That's all in your
It's
head.
caused by a genetic mutation
Nah.
that targets the thalamus,
Nope.
the section of the brain
it's
responsible
not.
for transitioning the mind from consciousness into sleep. What made the already terrible situation even more tragic was that he was also separated from his son.
Oh,
He had to
man.
return to Indonesia due to his mother's hospitalization, but the insomnia now left him bedridden, unable to fly back to his son in Philadelphia. Ricard still
Who the
wanted to
fuck's
do
watching
everything in
his
his
son
power
then?
to survive for his son,
Yo,
but the constant
back
unbearable
the
pain
fuck
was also
up.
sapping away his will to live.
You know, I need life. You know, I have my sons in Philadelphia now. I left him. You know, I have no choice. You know, because I don't want to leave him. I need life. I need to survive. You know, I don't want him to lose me. I don't want to lose him.
Bro,
From there,
who was
Ricard
watching
kept
him?
posting updates on his condition, and even shows what happens anytime he tried to sleep. But here's the thing. Ricard wasn't suffering from fatal familial insomnia.
He was going
because
through
that disease
withdrawals
is
or
genetic.
something, right?
It's not something someone can just contract out of nowhere, and no one in his family had this prior to him. Instead, Ricard's neurological issues were the side effects of ciprofloxacin, the antibiotic Ricard took from his boss for his UTI. Ciprofloxacin falls under a type of drug known as fluoroquinolones, and they are incredibly dangerous.
The fuck is a
Taking them without proper
fluoroquinolone mean?
precaution can cause total neurological degradation.
Oh, shit.
Unfortunately, even after knowing what it was, Ricard couldn't do anything, and his condition was getting worse with each passing day. He was starting to get delirious and began posting rants that made little sense.
Meet One Track Jack. He's a credit wrecker. He doesn't know that by focusing on one type of credit.
Conspiracy theory is never
Why is he
been
whispering
a
in my
theory.
fucking ear?
It's a practice. So
Bro,
the world
get out of my ear like that.
by the system.
Without sleep, the cells in his body were also starting
Bro,
to
this
die,
motherfucker
leaving
ugly
him
as
even
shit.
more immobilized than before. He received some hope from a
Dude,
doctor in
ugly as fuck.
Beijing who offered a cutting-edge procedure that had previously worked for one patient. However, the procedure's cost was beyond what Ricard could afford. And
Bruh.
while he did set up a fundraiser, the donations never reached the required amount. And after struggling with his condition
can't
for
you just
over
pay
a year,
later, bro? You
Ricard
can't- you
sadly
don't-
passed away
like-
on the 6th of December 2016 in Indonesia.
Damn. Damn. What is this? It's war
The
behind this one.
traumatized Mr. Incredible in this instance is a reference to the death of Isaiah Fitzgerald,
Oh,
an 18-year-old teen from Missouri who lost everything due to an internet argument. The incident happened on April 25th,
it's always the internet beefs,
2023,
bruh.
when a guy named Tanner Watkins uploaded a new profile picture on Facebook with his girlfriend, to which Isaiah reacted
Yo,
with a laughing reaction.
Tanner's scary.
The two were friends on
Tanner's scary
Facebook,
as
but it's
fuck,
unclear
bro.
how close they were. Regardless of their connection, Tanner did not take kindly to Isaiah's reaction and called him out in the post's comments. Their
Yeah,
discussion
fuck
quickly
off.
divulged into an argument and ended with the two agreeing to meet each other in person to settle things.
He said, "Let me know when you up. I'll drop a spot for show. You don't even got no wheels or nothing. Ah, you don't even got no wheels. My shit getting fixed, bro. I got wheels. That's always when you know that motherfucker capping. He don't got no car, bro. Your car's not getting fixed. You got no wheels. Like I said, motherfucker's still asleep. You ain't sleep if you texting, bro. Keep it real. I'm on my way to handle it. Oh shit. Oh shit.
The vast majority of internet arguments you
I be on Facebook laughing like a motherfucker. I don't care about you. Oh shit. Okay. Definitely feel some type of way. Ooh. Damn, we really out here posting our Cash App on Facebook? Oh no. When I win a bet, hell yeah. Yo, goofy ass don't even know what's going on, but got an opinion. Oh. Yo, my man, first time I made her parlay, he had to post that shit. Had to post that shit.
usually end here, with both
Nice.
sides moving on with their lives. However, both Tanner and Isaiah were
Yeah,
serious
it really,
about this
that didn't seem like
confrontation.
it was some beef
After
right there.
agreeing on the spot
That
and
seemed
time,
like
they
two
met up
friends
at the
just
Rotary
fucking
Park
around,
in
you feel me?
Sykeston, and
Maybe it
unfortunately,
wasn't.
neither side was open to a discussion. As soon as they got close to each other,
Definitely thought it was
both
some little
opened
friends
fire
right
from
there.
their cars. Isaiah was fatally shot seconds after the shootout started and passed away before help could arrive.
Jesus.
The 18-year-old girl Isaiah brought
were
with
not
him also
friends.
received life-threatening injuries. Fortunately, she
They
managed to
were
pull
not
through after
friends.
multiple surgeries. As for Tanner, he somehow managed to avoid conviction for the death of
How?
Isaiah, though he was eventually sentenced to 7 years in prison for an unrelated shooting in 2025.
Damn. Oh, it comes back to haunt you. Huh?
This meme is about a deadly attack that happened in Chicago in 1982 regarding Tylenol pain relief capsules.
What the fuck happened with
On the morning of
Tylenol?
September 29, a
The
12-year-old
fuck?
girl named Mary Kellerman took a capsule of extra-strength Tylenol to soothe a sore throat. But instead of feeling relief, she collapsed and passed away shortly after. That same day, a 27-year-old postal worker named Adam Janis also took Tylenol for his headache. Seconds later, he
He
suffered
died?
what appeared to be a heart attack
Oh.
and tragically passed away.
Oh!
His family gathered to mourn his death. His brother Stanley and sister-in-law Teresa each took Tylenol from the same bottle Adam had used. Within hours, those two were dead as well. By
What
the time
in
the
the
connection
fuck's
was
with
made,
Tylenol? It's
3
killing
more
people back in the day.
including 27-year-old Mary Reiner, 31-year-old Mary McFarland, and 35-year-old Paula Prince had also lost their lives. Testing revealed that the Tylenol capsules they had consumed were laced with potassium cyanide, one
How?
of the deadliest poisons in the world. And since the victims were spread across different suburbs, investigators quickly realized this wasn't a manufacturing error. Someone had gone into local grocery stores and pharmacies,
Who was
pulled
doing
bottles
that?
off the shelves, laced the capsules with poison, and put them back to be purchased by unsuspecting strangers. Investigators
How do you
had
just
no
do
way
that?
of knowing how many other poison bottles were still on the shelf.
That's
so,
true.
in an unprecedented move, the makers of Tylenol, Johnson & Johnson, stepped forward. They issued a nationwide recall of approximately 31 million bottles, a value of over $100 million at the time. Authorities also urged the public not to take any Tylenol product, and for good reason. In the early 1980s, over-the-counter medicine was sold in simple bottles with easy-to-open caps. There were no plastic neck seals, no foil liners, and no tamper evidence stickers.
Wow.
The realization
Shitty
that a complete
products.
stranger could turn a common household item into a weapon of mass murder changed this
Yup.
mindset overnight. In response to the tragedy, the FDA introduced stringent new regulations. Within 6 months, Tylenol returned to shelves in the first ever triple seal packaging. This included a glued outer
Nice.
box, a plastic wrap around the cap, and a foil seal over the mouth of the bottle. However, even this was not a perfect solution. In the months and years following the attack, police stations across the U.S.
People
were
still
flooded with
dying to
hundreds
them?
of copycat reports. And while many of these were hoaxes, some turned out to be legit. Like in 1986, when 23-year-old Diane Ellsroth died after taking a Tylenol capsule laced with cyanide in New York.
Wow.
That same year, another
This is
medication
scary. I don't even
named
wanna take
Excedrin was
Tylenol
targeted
right
in
now.
Washington State, leading to 2 more deaths. These attacks forced the pharma industry to evolve this packaging further and make poisoning
Like,
more
what if it's
difficult.
someone at the
However,
fucking
while the attack
warehouse
led
is
to an
doing it?
overall positive change, the original 7 victims never received the justice they deserved. Despite a massive investigation, a $100,000 reward for information, and several suspects, no one was ever charged with the actual murders. One of the
Oh, man.
suspects,
What
named
the
James
fuck?
Lewis, actually contacted Johnson & Johnson, claiming he would stop the killings if they sent him $1 million in ransom. But investigation revealed that he had nothing to do with the actual attack.
You just
He
wanna
was
say
just
it?
trying to take advantage of an already tragic situation.
Nice.
The most
What
popular
an idiot.
theory is that this attack was carried out by one of Johnson & Johnson's competitors to ruin their reputation, which makes a lot of sense
That could.
considering Tylenol's market share dropped from 35% to 8%.
Wow.
That said, it could still have been the work of a deranged serial killer intent on claiming as many lives as possible. Unfortunately, investigators found no solid clues like fingerprints or
You guys
CCTV
think they're still out there
footage that could
doing
help
it?
us confirm or deny these
That's kind of
theories.
creepy. Holy shit, that's kind of creepy. Ooh, wait, that's actually really scary. If you guys want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to catch you on the next one. So, woo!